Hello, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I am your host, Ali Patterson, and welcome to the FF Virtual Arena. Now, today we are joined by Katharine Photiou, who is the Managing Director of Workplace Savings at Legal & General. Katharine, how are you doing? Did I pronounce your surname correctly?
You did indeed, Ali. Hello, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Now, I do have to bring this up, and I'm hoping it does happen. We may get interrupted by not something I kind of was expecting. We may get interrupted by a pair of parrots.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a couple of parrots, and I'm at home today, so I'm really hoping they're going to be nice and quiet. And most people in the industry know me as someone who loves birds and all animals, so they'll expect it.
I need to know a bit about you professionally as well as we're going to go back to the parrots because that's just something that's really cool. Could you just tell me a little bit about your job title, your role at Legal & General, but what you kind of do on your day-to-day there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Katharine Photiou, Managing Director of the Workplace Savings business at Legal & General. So Legal & General, for those of you that haven't heard about it, is one of the UK's leading financial services companies. And we manage over $1 trillion of assets globally. And we have kind of three businesses. So we have an asset management business, an institutional retirement business, and the retail division where I work. So I'm in the workplace savings part at L&G within the retail division. And we provide pensions to over 5.7 million pension scheme members. So that's like the size of the population of Norway. So, a really big business.
Now, I get very excited with this kind of scale of business because it's a different sort of approach. And when we talk about things like customer experience, like regulation, wonderful, you can deliver that kind of one-on-one customer experience. If you've got 10 customers, when you've got 5 million, it's a different approach. I want to talk about your app, if that's okay again. How does it support members in managing their workplaces? To tell me a little bit about the history of the app, when it came in, and how users have been using it.
Absolutely, Ali. So the app launched in September 24, so just over a year ago, 2024, and we've had about 15 million visits since then, and the usage is really strong. So about 70% of our members return every 3 months, and 50% come back every month. And it's really designed to ensure that people understand not just what they have, but what they can do to make a big difference to their pension savings. So it delivers insights, guidance, and all capabilities to really help our members make informed decisions. So that includes things like open finance. So you can connect up to pensions and bank accounts, and you can understand and check your balances more holistically. And we also included recently our workplace ISA in there, so you can see, because pensions is one part of your retirement savings, but you'll also have other savings like ISAs. And we do spending and income analysis, budgeting and savings goals. So we really help members not just manage their retirement savings, but also their day-to-day finances.
So with that open finance approach to it, it's basically going to make my old Google Sheet where I list everything manually, going to make all that redundant.
Yeah, effectively, it's almost like how I used to call it the old shoe box that people used to keep all their papers in, and then they went into some kind of Google, maybe file. Now it's actually on the go with you in your pocket in the app, that you can see all your documents, you can see all your accounts in one place if you decide to link it up. Obviously, it's up to our members as to whether or not they want to make that decision to link up and see all their holistic savings.
Absolutely. And those figures in terms of people using the app and that retention, that's fantastic. Do you have any qualifiable intel? Have you heard anything directly or stories from some of the members using this in terms of how they perceived it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's brilliant. When we go on the App Store, there's some fabulous comments about the fact that, members say things like, well, I've never really been that interested in my pension because it seems so far away. But now you brought it closer to me, because effectively effectively I can look at it. And, I think prior to using apps, and particularly for L&G, what we've seen is members felt like retirement and their pension was so far away, they didn't really bother looking at it. Now they've brought it much closer. And like I said, it's in their pocket.
I've literally just gone onto the App Store, and I just have to highlight this because this is I really appreciate this. Every single review on the Google Play Store, Legal & General Resources Limited has responded to every single review on there.
Yeah. We respond really quickly to reviews. That's really important to us, and we listen to our members. So, what you find is, especially with Android, there's a whole different, so many phones, different operating systems. So, and members make changes to their phones. So you have to keep in contact with all the members, because they'll often find that they might have difficulties, or they've upgraded their phone and they need to register again for whatever reason, because they've lost their details or they've lost their phone. So it's really important that we keep in contact with our members. And the app is, our primary flagship member experience, effectively. So really important to us.
We've seen a lot of conversations recently about people wanting more control, but also more transparency over their finances. From your perspective, have you noticed any shifts in how employees engage with their pensions? I mean, we talked about the app. It is in some ways almost gamifying it, the fact it's there at your fingertips. So have you noticed any kind of shifts in how they engage?
Yeah, I think the first shift that we've noticed is that our members go into the app 5 times more likely and more often than they go into the web equivalent. Because we've got all these services on the web, but actually members are going in much more often through the app. So engagement's starting to move, we think, from this passive saving to members becoming a bit more actively involved in that decision making. So they are starting to use dashboards and planners within the app. They are starting to engage. And we know that pensions is really, really complex, especially members that have got a pot and they're trying to work out, is that enough to create a sustainable income for when they're not working? So, we do believe that our members are genuinely finding value in the experience that we've created, and it is creating more meaningful engagement. And it's really, giving our members more clarity, more confidence, more control, effectively in their decision making and their retirement.
In terms of especially things like the employee ones, what about on the other side? Have you noticed many employers utilizing it and looking in there as well?
Oh, absolutely. Our employers love the fact that we really love the app and really want to ensure that their employees, the maximum number of employees, have registered and are actively using the app. Because what effectively it does is it shows the value of the contribution they're putting into the pension as well. So, employers contribute to pensions through something called auto-enrollment. And very often, if members aren't looking at that, they don't understand the value of it. So they just look at their salary or some of their wider benefits that they might get, their private health insurance or whatever. Now they can see how much the employer is putting in, and they can see that go up every month. Employers really love the fact that we've got an app and that their employees are actively using it. So that's really important to them, and all ages as well. So, we've got we kind of segment all of our members, and what we're seeing is for all the different segments, regardless of age or profile, are actively using the app, which is great.
I want to talk a little bit about the development of the app as well, because obviously it's gone out, it's been very successful. Talk to me a little bit about how the app actually came into being. Was there almost like a beta test first that went out? Were you working with third parties? How was it kind of built up in the first instance?
Oh gosh, it was a real labour of love, but really exciting. So we decided that we wanted to create a new app. So we already had an app, but technology moves on so fast these days, Ali, as you would know more than anyone. So we got to a point where we did some research to work out what platform we wanted to use, commissioned some research to look at all the best platforms on the market and those used by Facebook and Instagram and others, to create and we use the React Native platform, and we designed it on that. We've got a series of development stages. So we had a number of beta and alpha platforms that we could deploy to before it was made available to our members. We did extensive testing, as you would imagine, very extensive testing, and through our employers. So we went into employers, and we got employees of some of our employers playing around with those beta environments to really really talk about, is this the experience you're looking for? Look, test the navigation, make sure there's enough friction in the journey as well. So sometimes friction can be good in a journey. It's not just about creating seamless, personalized, intuitive experiences, but with financial services we need to make sure that members are making the right decisions and they've thought them through. So we'd also time out and time how long it would take people to go through journeys and whether they were thoughtful enough in what they were doing. So an extensive amount of testing went through, and then we switched it on initially for a very small number of employers. So we agreed a number of employers that we would switch it on for, and then quite soon, actually, we were thinking we'd be in that kind of testing phase for a few months, but it became apparent within a few weeks there was absolutely no issues with the app, and we could start expanding it out very, very quickly. So, a really great success story, and really want to call out the teams that we've got are, fantastic. We've hired some fantastic quality people that are so invested in the app that's why they're replying to the App Store ratings. They love the app themselves. They use the app themselves, the developers. So, it's been a great year or so since launch and through that launch period.
Was there anything that didn't work? Like, I always remember when Atom Bank first came out, there was a lot of fanfare around the facial recognition, and it would kind of do like different colors and do like you would blink to kind of make a payment or confirm a payment, and it was a big fanfare around it, and it kind of got downplayed, and now you just log in with a thumbprint like everyone else. Was there any kind of big kind of gimmicky things like that you're like, this is fun, but this is just not core to what we're doing?
Not really. I think the one thing that we talked about at length was the importance of how people access the app. Because we know if you look at the app stores for any app, regardless of whether it's financial services or other, that is the most important thing. And we coined the phrase, or one of our product owners coined the phrase, buttery smooth. It's absolutely incredibly important that our members see that access in as being buttery smooth, and buttery smooth when they're in the app. That's our kind of mantra. But everyone finds it easy to access, and once they're in, they find that experience really intuitive, really engaging, and really natural to navigate around. So we spent a lot of time on ensuring that login, that biometrics, whether you want to use PIN, whether the multi-factor authentication, is all really smooth. But as you know, Ali, the problem is that phones and operating systems change by the minute. So it's a constant challenge, not just for us, for all companies that use and have apps as a premier leading part of their experience, to keep in connection with members and see whether any of our upgrades might have made any changes to the apps. And because it's obvious that it's going to happen, we've just got to get on and respond really, really quickly. So I think that's what we designed, and touch wood, that's what's really happened for us. It's worked really well, and members give us great feedback. We are actually going to redevelop the dashboard now. So I always say the dashboard is like Central Park in the US or Times Square, or it's prime real estate. It's the most important thing, because 50% of members will spend most of their time on that dashboard, and they'll scan up and down on it. So we are going to redevelop that dashboard, and we are going to start to personalize the dashboard. So Ali, if you're one of the members and you go in, what you see and the content you see will be different to the content that I see. And that's how the future of apps will start to move, that it will start to personalize in accordance with your usage, your likes, your dislikes. So it's a really personalized, seamless experience. We
can't talk about technology without mentioning AI.
You can't.
Got to be done. In terms of that kind of customization and again improvements for the future to enhance that experience, where do you see all of these large language models or other types of AI being utilized within the future of this app?
Yeah, so I think what we'll probably see across the industry, not just with us, is things like intuitive AI coaches. So these are coaches that will provide financial guidance within the app. So it won't be static information, it will be real-time guidance. They'll understand the context, they'll understand, Ali, how much you've been contributing. They'll understand how much you want to get out, because you would have told that to us through the journeys. And they will suggest next best actions for you, maybe about increasing contributions or consolidating pots of different pensions. And they'll engage conversationally with you. So they'll answer questions in really plain language, and they'll encourage you to make, I think, better financial decisions. And they'll link you up. So when you ask a question within the app, they'll link you to the relevant part and take you on the journey in the app. And this is a really important thing for me. I've always thought, why do I have to navigate around an app, Ali? Why have I got to work out where something is? Why can't it be served up to me in a conversational format? So there's no reason why I can't type or speak into the app, and it takes me to the part of the app that is the most interesting, or it serves that journey in the chat instantly. So if you want to change your address, rather than me taking you to the part of the app where it changes the address, why doesn't that part of the address and those questions come instantly into the chat? And we go, that's fine, Ali, you want to change your address? This is the address what we got for you at the moment. Tell me what changes you would like to make. Brilliant. So, the future's really bright in terms of AI, and that'll be, across the industry, I believe.
The last thing I want to talk about this is you're obviously very passionate about not just the app, but obviously serving your 5.5 million members across the board.
Yeah.
Why is that? Where does that come from for yourself?
For me personally, where does the passion come from? So, so there's a bit of a story there, actually. So my father was from Cyprus, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but many years ago there was an invasion in Cyprus, and my family, my grandparents were made refugees, and overnight they arrived into the UK, and literally they went from having, property and bank accounts in Cyprus to within weeks having no money. And they arrived into the UK as refugees, and they instilled in me, and my father always instilled in me, a really important sense of saving, because you never know what could happen to you in the future. So I've always been really passionate about the importance of saving, short term, medium term, and long term. Pensions is long term, but it's just as important to ensure that you've got a really short term, access, that if something happens to you, you've got access to cash, and also for medium term to meet your goals. So, maybe whether that's buying a house or marriage or whatever that might be, or being able to fund and help your children. So saving has just been, instilled in me and my family through that background, Ali. That's quite a lot of information.
No, that's nice. I like that. Well, Katharine, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Where best to connect with you and find out more about yourself?
So, you can Google L&G or use one of the AI chats to go into Legal & General, lng.com. You can find out about all our products and services. If you go into pensions, if you're already a member, then it has clear instructions on how to download the app from the App Store and sign up. If you're not a member, then you either get in through employers, or we have pensions available online as well. So, delighted to have more of your listeners effectively using L&G services.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you very much.